The fight for equal rights for gun owners takes many forms and has many faces. For example, California is known for having the most complicated and heavy-handed gun laws in the country. It seems that no matter how hard you try to comply, as a gun owner in the Golden State, you're just one misstep away from being arrested. In fact, California gun laws are so complicated, often those who are tasked with enforcing and prosecuting them don't understand them either. Just ask Northern California gun owner John Lee.
So my name is John Lee. I'm a local gun owner here in Sacramento, California, and I just wanted to share with you my story. So this happened about 3 years ago. It was in June 2013, and I was pulled over for suspicion, in my opinion. And the officer that pulled me over came up to me very polite. I was very polite with them, and I informed them right away I have firearms in the vehicle. I had 2 firearms particularly, and they were in cases. Prior to that, actually, we'd read up a little bit about how to transfer or transport firearms. In this case, it was two long guns. We were pulled over, we were inspected. About an hour of our time was wasted on the streets curb side as cars were passing by. It was very demoralizing and very embarrassing because I felt like a criminal.
But you haven't heard the most interesting part of the story yet. You see, the offense for which Mr. Lee was arrested isn't even a crime.
They actually charged me with illegal possession and transportation of firearms. I was charged, but what happened was my attorney at the time, his name's Adam Richards, great guy, he knows his laws very well, so he actually petitioned for something called a factual finding of innocence.
Hi, I'm Adam Richards. I'm a senior associate here at the law firm of Rothschild, Wishick & Sands here in Sacramento. John Lee was a very pleasant client of mine, and he's like many other gun owners out there. He's an average shooter who enjoys the shooting sports, and he was traveling with a friend of his in Stockton, and they were pulled over by an officer for a vehicle code infraction. And the officer asked if there were any dangerous weapons or anything in the car, and he also noticed in the back seat, as I recall, a rifle case, or what appeared to be a rifle case. They politely and professionally disclosed to the officer that they had 2 firearms in the case. As I recall, it was a .22 rifle and a 12-gauge shotgun, both of which were lawfully configured and, as it turns out, lawfully possessed. However, the officer from Stockton PD told them that he believed that they were unlawfully in possession of a concealed weapon.
Now, luckily, our criminal justice system has some checks and balances. So one would think that once the prosecutors got a chance to review the case file, they would discover this and correct the error. But sadly, that's not what happened.
The DA of the county charged the crime. Mr. Lee, a law-abiding citizen who had just gone to the range the day before, now faced 2 misdemeanor charges in San Joaquin Superior Court. 2 counts of possession of a concealed weapon. It's at that point that Mr. Lee contacted the Calguns Foundation.
Recognizing the injustice being perpetrated in this case and how it could affect the broader gun-owning community, the Calguns Foundation came to John Lee's aid.
And I appeared for him on his behalf in the Superior Court of California, County of San Joaquin, for arraignment. I had an opportunity to speak with the judge and the DA in chambers, off the record. And I very succinctly, politely, but forcefully explained to them that this crime was improperly charged, and that essentially it's a demur, which is a legal term to say that even assuming as true everything you've alleged, it's not a crime. You've made a mistake. The DA was a little bit confounded. The judge looked at the DA and said, "Mr. Richards seems to know what he's talking about. Perhaps you want to do some research and we'll continue the arraignment until a later date." I did one better, and I offered to write a memorandum to the DA to outline the very clear state of the law. So we continued the matter. I sent them the memo. I showed up at the next court date. The DA apologized and asked me to apologize to my client. And it's at that point that we went one step further with the Calguns Foundation support.
In this case, justice prevailed. But one has to wonder how often this sort of wrongful prosecution occurs. How many innocent firearms owners have had to endure arrest and prosecution despite having committed no crime at all.
We filed a motion for a finding of factual innocence What that does is that restores Mr. Lee to the position he was prior to this unlawful contact with the officer, prior to this unlawful arrest. His record will not have any record of arrest, conviction, charging, nothing. And he can answer that he has never been arrested or charged with a crime because this accounts for the mistake of the people, of the prosecutor. And without the Calguns Foundation support, I firmly believe that there is a possibility Mr. Lee could have found himself convicted of a crime. Not because he committed one, but because not all lawyers will be able to recognize the issue that was presented. Mr. Lee was sophisticated, so I would have hoped that he would have found a lawyer who could help him if he didn't come to the Calguns Foundation. But bottom line, there are many defendants out there who are in a similar position to Mr. Lee who may find themselves convicted of a crime for something that isn't an offense to begin with. This is the type of service that Calguns Foundation can provide and has provided in countless cases, ones that I've handled and one that other lawyers have handled as well.
This is just one example of how Calguns Foundation fights for you. Through educational, cultural, and legal efforts, CGF is committed to restoring and advancing civil rights for all gun owners. You can learn more at calgunsfoundation.org. I'm Elizabeth Seeley. Thank you for watching.
If you like these updates, please share them with your friends and subscribe to our YouTube channel.